Tonight on NewsWatch 12 at 6, an ordinance that would change how the city of Ashland prepares for fire season is being discussed. And officials from around the country coming together to discuss policies addressing electric integrity and voting access.
And it was a chilly start to the new month today. Temperatures well below normal for this time of the year, but tracking some warmer weather in the days ahead. All the details on the warm up and when the rain and snow is going to wrap up coming up.
Live, local, late breaking. This is NewsWatch 12 at 6.
A bill going through the legislature could limit the use of certain pesticides from the health of the ecosystem, but with some proposed changes, the bill now facing backlash with those who advocated for it. Thanks for joining us tonight for NewsWatch 12 at 6. I'm Haley Gravitt. NewsWatch 12's Rocky Walker shares more details in our top story tonight.
Well, Haley, what you could see behind me, this is House Bill 2679. What it would do is it would restrict the use of neonicotinoid pesticides. But with the proposed amendment, the blacked out lines you see now, well, that's what will be changing about the bill.
Neonics kill bees in very small amounts. For example, the lethal dose for the neonic thiamethoxam for an adult honeybee is 15,000 times smaller than the grain of salt.
They do indeed kill pollinators as a broad spectrum insecticide that is not a targeted tool. It's more of like a shotgun approach. It just kills everything it touches.
Those were testimony in a public hearing showing support of House Bill 2679, restricting the use of neonicotinoid pesticides, only being sold to those who become licensed to use them, with supporters saying the pesticides can kill countless pollinators in the ecosystem.
Butterflies and bees who eat pollen and nectar, they can be impacted. And if the bee takes the pollen and the nectar back to her nest, then she's actually slowly poisoning her babies.
But the Oregon Farm Bureau opposed the bill, pushing instead for an amendment.
We just don't believe that a lot of the small farms in Oregon are going to take that next step to apply for those licenses, and so they're going to be looking to alternative products that they have access to.
Chief Bill sponsor Zach Hudson sent an amendment on behalf of the Oregon Farm Bureau. Instead of limiting neonics to being bought by licensed users, now instead it's sold by licensed pesticide sellers.
Licensed pesticide dealers are not your big box stores, they are not your garden stores, but they are the places like the Grange Co-op that your agricultural community frequents.
But the original bill supporters say this takes away from the purpose of the bill in the first place.
The intent of the original bill is to protect pollinators, birds, fish, and people. So that's obvious that if it's taking out way more of the bill language, the thought is they're wanting to weaken the bill.
Now, I wanted to take a deeper dive into neonics and their effects on pollinators and other insects. Now, look at this graph. It has data from the Department of the Interior with neonics coming into use in 1994. Slowly but surely, they became the most used pesticide in the country. But what this graph is showing is the numbers of oral insecticide toxicity loading, which means the amount of lethal doses for the honeybee and similar pollinators that can ingest a plant sprayed with it. Now, these numbers are approximations, but you see it's gone up to 170,000 by 2014. That is a 4,800% increase in these deadly doses in the 20 years since neonics were introduced from 1994 to 2014. And these neonics, they contribute to 99% of these deadly doses. Reporting in Medford, I'm Rocky Walker.
And a Republican-led effort to repeal Oregon's decades-old vote-by-mail system has sparked widespread opposition. Senate Bill 210, introduced by Senator David Brock Smith of Port Orford, seeks to replace the state's mail voting system with an in-person voting on Election Day starting in 2028. More than 11,000 Oregonians submitted testimony ahead of a Monday Senate Rules Committee hearing. Oregon Secretary of State Tobias Reed confirmed that the state's website temporarily crashed because of the amount of submissions.
Within this piece of legislation is to let the voters of this state reaffirm on whether or not vote by mail is their choice.
Opponents argue that this would disproportionately impact rural residents, elderly voters, and individuals with disability. Others defended the proposal, saying people need to check signatures, put a face to the ballot, and tally it the same day. During the hearing, attendees who were for and against the bill were evenly split. Senate Bill 210 is unlikely to advance in the Democratic-controlled legislature, but if it does pass, will be on the 2026 ballot. And Oregon Secretary of State Tobias Reed and others from around the country came together to discuss policies aimed at ensuring free and fair elections. The Democratic leaders from Nevada, Maine, Arizona, and Oregon say their focus is countering misinformation, expanding voter access, and strengthening election infrastructure. Reed and others reaffirmed the commitment to maintaining secure voting systems.
We've been doing this really well with our vote-at-home system for decades. It saves time and money for Oregonians, and it's more secure because we use paper ballots and signature verification. And Oregonians love this system.
Oregon currently allows registered voters to return ballots by mail, drop them in ballot boxes, or vote in person at county election offices. Our news team will continue to track voting bills at the state and national level for you. Let's check in with Storm Tracker 12 Chief Meteorologist Matt Hoffman to give us a look at our conditions. Quite a wet day for us, Matt.
Yeah, a lot of shower activity, rain, and even snow. Take a look outside. We have some quieter weather at the coast, lots of sunshine in Gold Beach, but Wairika, you can see the raindrops, so we have some showers rolling through into the Shasta Valley. Temperatures around the region with the wet weather today. It was a chilly first day of April. 49 degrees right now in Medford. It's 43 in Klamath Falls. We're in the 30s in Lakeview and up towards Christmas Valley and Chemult. 44 in Montague and 53 degrees along the coast in Brookings. Still tracking areas of rain and snow showers. Some of these producing some heavier downpours and some heavier bursts of snow, including right along Highway 140 in between Klamath Falls and Lakeview. Let's take a look at some of the roads out there. Mainly looking at just some wet roads, including at Siskiyou Summit, but with cold temperatures tonight and some lingering snow showers, we could see some slick and slippery conditions through some of the higher terrain. Road conditions not looking too bad east of the Cascades, but that snow dropping visibility at Quartz Mountain Pass. Taking a look down at Siskiyou County, road conditions not looking too bad at this point. Tonight, look for some lingering rain and snow showers. The coverage of shower activity should wane a bit. We'll keep the chance for some more showers tomorrow, especially along and west of the Cascades in southern Oregon. Skies will turn partly cloudy by tomorrow afternoon, and temperatures will still be very cool for this time of the year, but there is some drier and warmer weather in our extended forecast. I'll share the details on that, Haley, coming up.
Thank you, Matt. And the 10-day reporting requirement to request replacement of food purchased with SNAP benefits that was lost or destroyed during the March 16th severe weather has been waived. Households in the approved counties now have until April 15th to report food losses and request replacement benefits. Those counties include Jackson, Josephine, and Curry counties. And the state of Oregon and Oregon State Fire Marshal enacted a conflagration in response to the flooding and state of emergency in Harney County. A Klamath County strike team is assisting local emergency services using airboats and heavy equipment to reinforce damaged levees. Klamath County Fire District 1 says it'll take up to roughly 20,000 sandbags to do so. Klamath Community College's Apprenticeship Center was awarded over $300,000 from the Oregon Department of Energy. The grant money will be used to expand the college's heating, ventilation, and air conditioning program. The goal of this program is for students to receive hands-on training and earn industry-recognized certifications to prepare students for their careers. This 2-year grant will help cover tuition and other costs to help students. And tonight, Ashland City Council will meet to discuss the second reading of Ordinance 3257, which outlines weeds and other vegetation prior to fire season. If the ordinance is passed, this will update and align the ordinance with current best practices and additional time for compliance before fire restrictions take effect. The city says it's essential to start addressing grasses and weeds sooner rather than later. And it's almost that time of year when the Southern Oregon Railroad Park opens for some steam-powered magic. But this year, the park needs your help. There are 4 volunteer groups who help keep the park alive. The Southern Oregon Live Steamers run the train that we are looking at now. This year, the volunteer group is hoping more people will get involved and bring smiles to families' faces. The current volunteers describe the group as a fellowship with a passion for trains and locomotives.
That was one of the things that I thought was great, was there's not many places that you can go, and like every run day, there's not one person that doesn't have a smile on their face.
And he says the track is the heartbeat of the park, and without it, the train that keeps people coming back won't run. If you'd like to volunteer and learn more about this opportunity, head to our website, kdrv.com. And beginning Monday, half a mile of the Bear Creek Greenway will be closed as contractors will be in the area replacing the north and south bridge approaches. The 3-day closure will be at Cairns Bridge in Ashland and will have no bypass around the work zone. Trail users will have to find an alternative route during this time. Now, this may be your last summer on the shore of Crater Lake as a proposed project plans to close the Cleetwood Cove Trail and Marina for 3 years. The project addresses critical safety issues, hoping to rehabilitate the trail, which is the only permitted access to the shore of Crater Lake. If construction goes as planned, the trail will reopen in summer of 2029.